So last night I got to see an advanced screening of Pacific Rim Uprising, and I'm going to be doing a complete spoiler review on this movie. So if you guys have not seen, you guys want to, definitely get off this video, go see the movie, then come back and watch this review. But guys, if you want to see my spoiler review of Pacific Rim Uprising, make sure you guys definitely stay tuned. How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh, and if you guys like movie reviews, especially like spoiler reviews, definitely consider subscribing to Webhead because I have plenty of videos coming out about all that stuff. Also, make sure you guys definitely turn on that notification bell so you guys can keep up to date with all my latest uploads. Make sure you guys definitely smash that like button if you guys like this video. And make sure you guys definitely comment below your thoughts. Are you guys excited to see Pacific Rim Uprising? Or if you have already seen it, let me know what you thought of the movie down below. And yes, there will be spoiler comments, so I will warn you guys of that as well. But guys, with all that out of the way, let's get in the video, Webheads. Alrighty, so now seeing Pacific Rim Uprising, and now I'm just going to be doing a spoiler-filled review because obviously I don't really do much on Pacific Rim Uprising. I will say that I will probably do movie reviews of, like, say, big budget movies, like random big budget movies, like occasionally. Like this movie I'm going to do, and then next week I'm going to be doing Ready Player One because I'm really excited about that movie, and I like to talk about what I'm excited about, sometimes getting off topic of like all of Marvel and DC and stuff like that. I like to talk about some other stuff as well occasionally. So that's why I'm doing this video, that's why I'm doing a movie review, and I got to see an advanced screening, so it's pretty cool for me to actually get to do this review, because for me personally that rarely ever happens, so it's just awesome to actually see an advanced screening. So what did I really think of Pacific Rim Uprising? Obviously I'm going to be breaking this down into several little parts, basically just what I liked about the movie, what I didn't like about the movie, and some things that I think are just plot holes within the movie, that kind of stuff, and then I'll be giving my overall score. But really just things that I liked about the movie are that I really liked all the action in the movie. Everything was done really well. It was really cool. I liked how the robots did feel gigantic, just like they did in the first movie. That was really cool. I feel as though in the first movie they did a better job of really capturing how large the actual Jaegers were in the movies, and it actually felt as though there was just a lot of fights in the first one. And then in the second one, there's definitely a lot of fights, but I'll say as though they didn't do as well of a job of kind of showing how big the Jaegers were. It was a little more like Transformers, where the Jaeger fights were a little bit faster paced than they were in the first one. The first one, they were kind of slower paced action films, and I felt as though that was more appropriate for the Jaegers because they're big, massive, like skyscraper tall robots. So that's why I think the first one did a little bit better, but this one still did a pretty good job. And obviously they're giant robots, so why would they be going that fast? That doesn't really make sense. And occasionally within this movie, the Jaegers definitely do that along with the Kaiju. They both basically kind of fight very fast at some points, but at the same time I feel as though the Jaeger fights still did a good job, and I think that was probably the best part of the movie, especially the last battle scene where you had all of the Jaegers, like the new cadets were actually in the Jaegers, and then you actually had two main characters that were actually in their Jaeger, and they're going to fight the giant Kaiju that actually was like 3 Kaiju, but it morphed into 1. That was a pretty cool fight, I'll have to say. I love the Kaiju. I love how they literally took 3 of them and morphed them together. That was pretty cool. And I gotta say that the Kaiju and Jaeger fights definitely did not disappoint me. I thought they were a lot of fun, and they definitely did a great job with the action. Now really with the CGI, I will say it is a great, like, just visual movie. Honestly, just the visuals alone should get you through the door to see this movie because it's a beautiful movie. It really is. Like, it definitely is a futuristic world, but at the same time, it definitely looks like it's Earth still. It's not too futuristic where it's looking like that doesn't look like it'll ever happen, ever. It's way too futuristic. But I just think the cities aren't too attainable. It looks like it's something that actually could happen in the next 10 years. That's what our cities could look like. But at the same time, I think that the Jaegers and the Kaiju, all the CGI on those big creatures were done really well, and I liked how they all looked. And just the scenery in this movie was amazing, I will say that. And just the overall scope of the Jaegers and the Kaiju were awesome. I definitely thought the visuals in this movie were top-notch and definitely some of the best that I've seen in giant robot movies. Definitely, in my opinion, probably just as good as Transformers. And Transformers, I mean, they're not great movies, but at the same time, they have great CGI and visual effects and special effects that are actually in the movie. So definitely have to say they're definitely right up there with them. And I really like John Boyega in this movie. I thought he did a really good job as the main character. He was definitely really funny at times, and he definitely pulled off all the comedic elements of most of the movie. He literally had all of the funny scenes. He did a really good job. I could definitely relate to the character. It definitely made sense that it was attached to the first movie because of who he was. He was the son of Idris Elba's character. I forget what his name was, but he was the son of Idris Elba's character who died in the first movie, and now really going on, he's just the son, and he did just a really good job. His jokes actually landed in the movie. I thought he actually was a pretty funny character, and John Boyega definitely carried this entire movie on his back, I'll say. I think he's by far the most standout actor out of all of them. And another one that I really liked as well was actually Amara from the movie. That's her character name in the movie, and Amara was like that little girl in the movie, and she looked up to John Boyega's character Jake, and I honestly thought that both of them together had a lot of chemistry. They're really cool, and they definitely worked well together on screen. Obviously, he was kind of like that big brother to her, and just kind of being like, I've been through what you've been through, and he gave her advice throughout the movie. I thought that was really well done, and I thought those two were actually the standout characters throughout everybody else. And those were the real two characters that I thought were big standouts in the movie, and that's really it. I didn't really think any other characters really stood out in the movie, but obviously the overall focus was on those two characters from the start till the end. And I gotta say, for the overall story, I thought it was pretty good. I will say it's definitely like one of those movies where it's kind of like, most of the time, turn off your brain and don't think about anything too much, because if you do, there's a lot of plot holes. And now really going into my negatives about the film, I'm going to be explaining all those plot holes because there are a lot of them. So really just starting off the movie, obviously they're just kind of introducing with the characters. We get to know who Amara is and Jake is, and they obviously right off the bat are doing pretty well. And the thing that I was very nervous about this movie is really just the overall, like, all the kids in the movie. Are they gonna make this too corny? Are they gonna make it like really stupid jokes and all that? Because the first one was definitely like gritty, dark and gritty, and definitely realistic of what would happen if kaijus actually came and destroyed all these cities and we had to build Jaegers to actually fight them. That's what that one was about. This one was a little bit more of just kind of your popcorn flick. They definitely kind of went a different route than Guillermo del Toro tried to take this entire franchise, and I think they did probably a worse job because of that. And really just, it was mainly just the kids. When they have a bunch of the young cadets actually show up on screen with the final battle, and you had like I recognized one was from Disney Channel, and I was just like, oh my god, this kid's gonna ruin the movie. I know he is. And when all the kids were going around, they were like, they were fighting all the kaiju, and then when they took one down or something like that, they were flipping them off. They were doing that kind of stuff, and it was just corny moments like that where it's just really stupid. They did little kid jokes, and it did work. It just didn't work at all. John Boyega's jokes were the only thing that actually worked, and I'll say that that's the only redeeming quality of the movie was John Boyega's jokes. He was the only thing funny about the movie, and the Amara girl, she didn't come off as too corny at most points. I'll say there's probably like one or two where I'm just like, that's kind of dumb. But for overall, her character is fine. All the other kids, though, it was kind of half and half. Like, most of them were really corny, like the Disney Channel one. But then he ended up dying, so I was okay with that. When he died, I was laughing because I was like, thank God they took that kid out, because he was horrible in the movie. I didn't think he was good. I actually really could have done without that character. And then I felt as though they didn't spend enough time with the kids as well. I didn't really like the kids, but at the same time, their chemistry together was pretty good, I'll say that. They definitely made dumb jokes. If they had a little bit more time, I probably would have cared about them getting, having like all their Jaegers get destroyed at the end of the movie. I would have actually felt bad. And when the Disney Channel kid died, I guess I would have felt bad if I had a little more screen time with the kid, but at the same time, we didn't really even get to know all those kids when they suited up, and they were basically the last stand to save the Earth. I didn't really feel it. I didn't really care about any of them, and when they got destroyed in the Jaegers, like, or most of them one got killed, and then all the other Jaegers just got destroyed except for John Boyega's and Scott Eastwood's. I didn't really care about any of those Jaegers. When they got destroyed, I was kind of like, whatever, who cares? Like, I didn't care at all. And then there was one scene in the entire movie, we're kind of going back to the story aspect of it, where they went to, I forget what country they even went to because it's so forgettable. They went to some place on Earth where there's just a lot of snow. I don't know if it was the North Pole, I don't know if it was like Antarctica, I forget where it was. But they had a giant Jaeger fight, and I completely forget why they were even going there. I think there was just some Jaeger tech there, and I just forget why they even were going there, how they even figured it out. They said literally when Mako from the last movie basically got hit by the missile, and she was in the helicopter and she blew up, she sent a message to one of the scientists, or to, I think it was to her brother Jake, and when she was sending the message, she sent something of coordinates, and when she was going down, you like look at the scene and you're like, she didn't say anything of coordinates at all. I'm pretty sure she was just saying like, you know, like I love you to Jake or something like that, for like being a brother or something like that. She didn't even really say anything towards any of that, so that didn't really make sense of how they got the message, and then they kind of used the coordinates to go to this icy place wherever the hell they went, and then it was just really to fight the same Jaeger that like kind of turned on them, and that was really all they did. It was just to really bring you to another fight scene. That's all it was. I can't even really remember why they were there. It destroyed something. I forget what it was. I think it was some like Jaeger tech or something like that. But it made no sense. That really did not need to be in the movie, and I think it was completely useless. And the ice that they're fighting on, I'm sorry. If they were fighting on the ice, those giant robots, that ice would have collapsed immediately. There's no way that ice would have been able to hold them up. And the other thing that I had with the entire movie is kind of taking Newt's character, is basically Dr. Newton from the first one, and it was played by Charlie Day. Charlie Day's character I really liked in the first one, but now he's evil in this one, and he basically takes some of the kaiju, like the kaiju flesh and like, you know, all the leftovers of all the like dead bodies of the kaijus, and they literally put it into Jaegers and make kaiju Jaeger monsters. That's what they do. I mean, I will say it was a good twist, I'll say. I did not see that coming at all, but at the same time, I kind of wanted Newt to be a good guy. I didn't really want him to be a bad guy at all. But yeah, I'll just say that was like, you know, those were some of the biggest plot holes in the entire movie. Those are really like the biggest issues I'll have with the movie. It still was okay. It was enjoyable. I honestly thought it was an okay movie. The two main characters I thought were really good. And then like Scott Eastwood's character, I think his name was Nate. I didn't care about him at all. Like he was just kind of that strict military guy, and he was fine, but the thing is there was nothing else to him. Like you didn't get to know him more, you didn't really know anything about him. And even when they were going into, when they were doing like the neural link or whatever in the Jaeger, when they were doing that, it was Jake and Nate were doing it together. You didn't see anything of Nate's past, so like usually that's how they kind of introduce the character and show a little bit of backstory. They didn't really do that for his character, and they just kind of, I feel bad for the actor, because I feel as though Scott Eastwood's in all of these big movies, like he was in Suicide Squad, he's now in this, and they just kind of give him the worst roles. I don't think he's a bad actor at all. I think he actually did a good job for what he got. He just got a one-dimensional character that nobody really cared about, and if he died, nobody would have cared. So it's like, who cares? And I feel bad for the actor, because I think he's actually pretty good. I just think he keeps getting really crappy roles, and he deserves something more. That's just my opinion. And I'll say, guys, like that's where I'm really gonna wrap it up with this movie. That's all I really have to say about it. It's definitely one of those movies you gotta turn your brain off and just kind of be like, monsters and robots are fighting. That's really all it is. Jaegers and Kaijus are fighting. That's it. I will say the first movie is definitely way better than this one, but this one I will give it a 5 out of 10. That's really where I'm gonna leave it. That's where I think it deserves it. It was an okay movie. It wasn't good, it wasn't great, and it wasn't bad. I won't say it was horrible. There were definitely some things when you really think about the movie and why they went to certain places, doesn't make sense. And then when you look at the main cast, only 2 stand out, in my opinion. Only 2 of them stand out, and everybody else is just kind of there. That's all it really is. And I feel as though the Jaeger fights and the Kaiju fights, really cool. I will say that. That was the only big redeeming quality of the movie. The visuals, the fights in the movie were really cool, but that's about it. That's all I really have to say about this movie. But guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys think of Pacific Rim Uprising, if you guys have seen it. If you guys haven't seen it, I don't know why you just watched the whole spoiler review, but let me know if you guys want to see the movie, if you haven't seen it already. Also, make sure you guys definitely smash that like button if you guys like this video. Of course, if you guys want more movie reviews and spoiler reviews on latest upcoming movies, make sure you guys definitely consider subscribing below so you guys get plenty of videos on all that stuff. Make sure you guys definitely turn on that notification bell so you guys can keep up to date with all my latest uploads. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye. Alrighty, Webheads, if you guys like this movie review and you guys want to see more movie reviews just like it, make sure you guys definitely subscribe to Webhead so you guys get plenty of videos on all that stuff. Also, make sure you guys definitely check out my social media links in the description below so you guys can follow me on various social media networks, and check out the 2 videos below me. I think you guys would really enjoy. But thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye.